and gentlemen. What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. And like I promised, guys, I was going to do this Q&A about the post that I put up about Anthony Joshua versus Canelo Alverez, according to Eddie Hearn. So, Eddie Hearn stated that I'll let the chat load. You guys come in, hit that like button for me. It was a big thing. It's about 5 days, so right at a week old. And I asked on the community, who is the bigger global superstar? Okay, you guys hit that like button. Thank you for coming in, and I'm gonna let maybe 50 to 100 people load while we go through the Q&A. Okay, because it is very, very, very interesting to see the poll. Okay, and I encourage all current YouTube creators to give this same poll so we'll have a better understanding because a lot of channels have different people that cater to certain demographics. So I want to see a vast amount of people, then we could all put them together and then add those together. But you guys that come in, hit that like button. As soon as I get enough people on here, we will go over who's the bigger superstar. Cop King, what's up, brother, from Belgium? Belgium in the house. What's up, brother? Kind of punch to you. You guys hit that like button. We're waiting for YouTube to do the job because the links are out. Vizio W, what's up, brother? Kind of punch to you. Christopher Darlington, what's up, brother? Yo, bro. um, yeah, I'll let the chat load. It'll take a few minutes to come in. You guys hit that like button for me. Um, been putting in work. Been putting in work. Okay, so it is what it is. But yeah, these are some interesting comments, and I want to talk to you guys about this here. Okay. Keep it real. It says Joshua Easley from Real Deal London. Counterpunch to you, brother. And I want to read some of this to you guys. South Wales Matt. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. What time is it in the UK now, guys? What time is it now? 8:45? 9:45? Where I live, AJ is way bigger than Canelo. Cop King. Where do you live? Niku. Counterpunch to you. Okay, 9:45. 21:45. 21 hours. 2,100 hours. 45. Belgium in Europe. Gotcha. Well, and that's in France, so that's not even in the UK. Okay, so Watford, England. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. So Canelo big in Latin America. Okay, there we go. Canelo in the Americas, AJ the rest of the world. Mark Lloyd, AJ all the way. How many Spanish speaking countries do you have? Do you think he's bigger in all of Latin America? So could somebody from Argentina know Canelo? Because I've been like to DR, places like that. They know Canelo. They know him. They know of him. Been to Colombia, Peru. I didn't ask in Peru, so I don't know. I don't know how they, I never did a poll, but when I go back there, all this craziness, you know what I mean? Yeah, Canelo is much bigger in South America. All those countries know who Joshua is also. Android Spot, who has more followers on Instagram? Wow, that's a good question. Let's go to that. Android Spot. Let's take a look. See, let's take a look. See, so Let's look at Canelo. So we have Canelo Alvarez. He has 7.6 million followers. Okay, that's a lot of followers. That's like up there with old King Ryan, right? I might give Canelo the edge because he's been in boxing game longer. It's really hard to call. Green too. Mexico shows his fights for free. Okay, so Android Spot. Let's go here. 7.6 million followers. Okay, that's Canelo's. What's Anthony Joshua's? Let's see Anthony Joshua's. 12 million followers. Okay. So that's a good distinction. Can Saunders do a number on Canelo? Maybe you knew what those following numbers were already before you said it, but I didn't know. I didn't even really think about Instagram. But I mean, there is definitely something that you want to add, somebody like that. AJ, you are much more famous in Romania. Romania are commercials with him. Nice. Who would be bigger in Saudi Arabia and why? Well, I mean, I don't know because see, Joshua's already fought there. So it's kind of unfair for Canelo because Canelo hasn't fought in that hasn't fought in that country. Whereas AJ, from Africa to Dubai, he's fought in Saudi Arabia. He's over there. You know what I'm saying? He's on that side of the pond, so to speak. So people, I think, would know of him more. He would be more of a classic fighter, or whatever. Now, more of a AJ climb high. AJ is more known in China, India, who have about 2.7 billion people. That resolves the global question right there. Okay. Wilder was really on crack when he was negotiating with you guys. Each is popular in their own side of the world. Green, too, I can deal with that. AJ has many, many more contracts with large companies. Then Canelo has been a pro longer. Okay, so um, let's do this. Let's start reading some of these comments here. Okay, um, Toby Samuel, AJ is globally, but Canelo is bigger in the U.S. This is from someone living in Canada. Okay, so that's from Toby. Roman Mirga, even my granny knows Joshua. Okay, Abraham Albert, man like Anthony Joshua is the face of boxing globally, most especially in Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. The heavyweight champion is always the biggest star, except during Mayweather's era. His star power was too big, and the heavyweight champion, the Klitschko's, were boring. That was from Eba Peter. That's interesting because the Klitschko's did have a bad rap for being boring. I'm going to do a big breakdown on the Klitschko's. You know what I mean? Their rise and fall. Beginning and end. You know, I may get to that this week. Let's see. That was easy poll. AJ has global appeal. Canelo is just about the Latin America and the Americas. AJ's appeal span Europe, Africa, Asia, Caribbean, Americas, and Australia. That's from Charles Bryant. Um, Sharil Ramley. Of course, AJ, heavyweight champ known globally. Okay. Seem like Eddie's dreaming of talking them both around the world. There's gold in them heels. Okay, I can vouch for that. Bradley B. Bell, 99% in my country does not know Canelo, but everyone knows Joshua. Okay. Um, okay. Akram Farid. He says, I don't know. I don't even see how this is a question for debate. Both are outstanding fighters, but Joshua sold out Wembley multiple times. 100,000 fans in the stands. Joshua sold out MSG in minutes. Joshua was paid 80 million, which was 85, to fight Ruiz in Saudi Arabia. It is rumored that Joshua will be making 100 million to fight Fury. They could sell out any stadium on the planet with that fight. Joshua is a global star. Canelo is a star in the Mexico and the U.S. People underestimate how big African countries are, and AJ is massive in Africa. Okay, that's a pretty interesting one because a lot of people don't really consider Africa as like superpowers and stuff like that. But one of the biggest fights of all time went down there in Zaire. Okay, that was Muhammad Ali when he upset George Foreman in the midst of a freaking war, people. So take it for granted that was happening. All people got together for that particular fight. Everybody was cool that day, I guess, and then I guess the next day they picked up their rifles or whatever. Um, Master underscore E. I want to say Canelo, but it's hard to say. Okay. It was down to the talent. There would be no contest. Half of the African continent are dick riding AJ just because they think he's the next Ali. That's from Rumpelstiltskin. No, Rumpelstiltskin Mick Rumpelstiltskin. Crazy. All day long. Why both? Why? Because he AJ all day long because he's the heavyweight champ. Okay. Tosh Vac, I love and follow both of them. Nice. Canelo is a beast, and that's all that matters from Mesh Law. Counterpunch to you. Okay. I met a girl recently that knew who Joshua was, but had no idea who Lionel Messi was. AJ is the only global star in boxing right now. Canelo is big in Mexico and the U.S., and that's from Richard Peppel. Okay. Now, AJ hands down the two faces of boxing by Jonathan Banks. So let's read this. Let's read this here. And you guys are ready. Are you guys ready to hear who is bigger out of 11,000 votes? And I thank each and every one of you guys for voting. We have 71% voted for, drum roll, Anthony Joshua. 29% for Canelo Alverez. 420 likes, over 500 comments. You know, that was actually one of the highest polls that I remember having on my community. So that's a record breaking all by itself. But it also shows you guys that these guys are the top dogs in the boxing world. See, before Anthony Joshua, Canelo, because it was this lull of time, think about it. Mayweather left in 15. Okay, then Manny Pacquiao was still fighting, but he lost to Floyd, so he kind of lost that juice, right? Then Canelo was rising. He was rising. And then he became that global guy. But he didn't get that until the ass in the 15. What happened in the ass in the 15? He beat Miguel Cotto, right? Miguel Cotto was that guy that he needed to beat to get that nod. You see what I'm saying? Because he didn't beat Floyd either. He lost to Floyd in 13. He fought a hard bout with Trout, because Trout upset Cotto, right? But then he beats Cotto, okay? And then he starts his reign as the next Mayweather, the next superstar, okay? 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 comes, or was that 19? He signs that $360 million contract with DAZN, a streaming service that shows all types of sports for $9 a damn month, going head to head with pay-per-view. So again, but from 15, 16, 17, okay, for 3 years, Canelo had this shit by himself. Joshua just really got that recognition because he got his nod of approval by beating Klitschko. Klitschko, the old champ, the old king, right? And in one hell of a fight, then he started to get that notoriety. Then people started looking at AJ. Then we had another heavyweight champion, a unified heavyweight champion, because not only did he have the IBF when he fought Vladimir, he fought Vladimir for the vacant WBA. So then he was the IBF, the WBA. Okay, then he fought Parker. Then he became the WBO. Okay, so all this was these stair steps, but he was gradually building his kingdoms, getting his notoriety up. And those endorsements, like I just read on these comments, you know, these guys are in certain countries that see Anthony Joshua on commercials and shit like that. He has 12 endorsements. So that's another thing you have to look at when you're talking about and pushing global star power. That's why I don't understand why you got guys like Errol Spence saying, I'm better, I'm bigger than that, and Deontay Wilder bigger than me. I'm like, dude, what are you fucking talking about? There's no comparison. You might as well compare a grape to a damn watermelon. Because you guys are not there. You guys are getting paid a hefty amount of money by fighting under Al Heyman's banner on that island of the PBC, Fox, and Showtime. That's it. But there's nothing more. There's no endorsements. There's no other streams of revenue that these guys have except for Al Heyman, the purses that he blesses them with and gives them, or the pay-per-view revenue, because they still run the pay-per-view platform, which is nothing wrong with that. But back to these guys. These are the two guys. And I was just sitting back wondering, like, oh, who is bigger? Who is better? Who is bigger globally in the world now? Because you got Canelo supposed to be the highest paid. He signed the highest contract ever in history. Shit looked like a A-Rod contract, right? To fight, what, 10 fights? With DAZN, an experimental app that nobody knew and a lot of people didn't respect because it was a competitor of the shit that they were accustomed to, which is pay-per-view. Okay? Premium TV is another. Boxing Finesse, salute Counterpunch. I'm biased. Both from AJ is globally known internationally, and the facts are enormous sponsorships, deals. Not saying Canelo ain't, but AJ's stock is way more than that. Okay. Salute Counter Strike. What you think of Mighty Mouse talent hunting like the does what? What you think of Mighty Mouse talent hunting like? I don't know what that means. You move trailers. What do you mean I move trailers? No, I'm just chilling. Klitschko was old. He was 41 and he was 2 years out of the ring. That is right, but he made a good account of himself, didn't he not? Vizio W, Blue Blood and Spence, oh God, versus Crawford will make more money than AJ versus Fury. Spence and Crawford? No, because no, hell no. Those guys won't even make, okay. Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford won't even make, remember this, won't even make half of what half of those guys' fight purse is. So, for example, if Anthony Joshua gets, for example, $100 million to fight Tyson Fury and Tyson, whatever, just that alone, they won't even make nowhere near half that together. And that's $50 million. They won't even make that. So let's stop that delusional narrative telling bullshit. Wishful thinking. I mean, I know he wishes those guys, but look, don't lie on them guys. Them guys ain't making that money. I just explained to you guys what happens over there in the PBC, how they're running shit, what goes on, okay? And it's not all that. In fact, it's not any close to being all of that, right? It's nowhere close. You gotta, okay, first of all, This is the exception. Everybody wants to be fucking Floyd, but understand, Floyd was in a special kind of time. I want people to listen to me, okay? Because I'm about to preach here for a minute and set everybody straight and counterpunch everybody that needs to know, okay? Listen, Floyd Money Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao. Do you understand the reason why these guys got paid so much money for that fight? Think about it. For that fight in particular. Do you guys know? Just answer me that question, why you think those guys made more money than anybody else in the history of boxing at the time. Do you guys know that? Can you guys give me some answers? Just give me some answers to what my question was to you guys. I want to pick your brain for a minute. Why do you think Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao made so much money in that one fight? Frank Torcios. UFC wasn't as big as Floyd's era. No, not because UFC is big in America, but it's still that's not no. Because I'm talking about boxing. Because UFC is UFC. Their fight purses are totally different structurally, and that's held by one guy, Dana White / Fidel Castro. You know what I'm saying? He's like that dude over there. So no, that's not right. Give me something else. Two best fighters at the time. Yeah, okay. I'll buy that, Christopher Darlington. Right? Pacquiao owns the Philippines and Mayweather owns with America. Okay, two countries, but no, still not right. The anticipation and build up to the £2 for £2 for pound. It might have had a smidgen to do with it. Andre Rodriguez, they both beat Oscar. Well, he was the cash cow. But to be fair, though, maybe you're getting a little warmer, but that's not the total reason, okay? Because Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, Tyson's the Omega. I mean, the Alpha, and Joshua's the Omega. So they both beat Klitschko. Klitschko was the representation of Oscar De La Hoya, the guy to beat in the heavyweight division. But understand, why did in 2015, let's see, pay-per-view sales. Okay, I get that. But then why do you think those pay-per-view sales were so fucking crazy? They didn't already have Hall of Fame status upon the fight. No, that's not it either. They were both going to go to the Hall of Fame regardless, because they held out forever and build up the hype. And Donald, that damn near blew up in their face. That may have 15%, 20, maybe 50, no, not even 20% to do with it. Do you guys give up? Everybody wanted someone to beat Mayweather. Now that's true. Okay, now that is, you're getting warm. You're getting warm with that. Promotional companies, no. That made it, Abiola, that made the shit worse. Why do you guys think that Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao made so much fucking money in the sport of boxing? Let me tell you. You guys ready? The reason why Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao versus Mayweather. No, not betting. That betting has nothing to do with their fight purses. That's someone else's profit if they bet the right way, right? No, it's not because they managed themselves, because Manny Pacquiao was still with Bob Arum at the time. Bob Arum sitting back, he's building homes and fucking properties off of the money that he made from Pacquiao. That's not it. Anticipation, okay, well, I get that. No. But listen to me. The reason why Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao made so much money is because they were the only ones on the fucking planet. There was no heavyweights then. Drop the mic. Right? There was no heavyweights. There was no heavyweight structure like there is now. What do we really talk about? The big guys. You didn't have that in 2015. You didn't have that at all. You didn't have the strength of the heavyweight division to fall back on. You did not have that at all. Tyson Fury beat Klitschko in 15, but what was that? That was an upset. He still had a rematch. Tyson Fury fucked up because he had adrenaline in the system and he fell and broke down mentally. So no, we didn't have that to go on, but what did we have that from all that time, from 2010 or probably earlier than that to 2015, we had the welterweights. We had Mayweather, it's me, Money May, TMT, hashtag forever, the money team. And then we had Es Manny Pacquiao. I am ready to fight anybody. Right? They had that. They do those two guys. If you were, look, you were either a pactard or you was a flomo. You didn't have nobody else. Think about what I'm saying. You did not have anybody else. Okay? So that's what that was. Hold on a second. It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV. I heard you was talking shit. No. Had to open the door. But no, but that is the overall reason. The reason for the buildup, the reason for the anticipation, the reason for everything going the way it went lucratively, because that was the only thing in the strength that was holding boxing on its back. Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. You had no heavyweights. Okay? We all admit Klitschko's were boring. It was a boring era. People were looking for people to beat those guys. But Tyson Fury, even though he could sing, even though he could box, he could entertain, he just didn't do it long enough. He won all those belts and fell off. So who did we have initially? Yeah, here we go. All right. Now, do you guys understand? Can you hear me now? Can we hear it now? Chris Serrano, you guys hear me? Paul Meadows, yo, Kurt, shifting UK Mayweather made so much money. See, Floyd knew they were in a special era of time. Okay? Nikki Blue Eyes, here we go. Counterpunch to you. Hear my flow. Bars. Bars. So, it was one of those things where you had Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, who's the best pound for pound. That lingered a very long time, but while it lingered, we had nothing else to hold on to. We didn't have heavyweights. We did not have that. Simon, appreciate you, brother. Counterpunch to you. But yeah, we had the beginning. Something happened in the heavyweight division, but it wasn't enough. And then by the time Floyd and Manny Pacquiao fought, that was kind of like the big blowout. After that, boxing fell off, honestly. We needed the heavyweight division to become what it was, because without it, people gave up. There was a lot of people that stopped watching boxing after Floyd outboxed Manny Pacquiao. These are facts. People forgot all about boxing. Oh, that fight sucked. We paid $100 for this shit, and guess what? In return, what did we really get? What a jip. Okay? Then Canelo, he was still trying to raise his profile, but I mean, at that time, who was he compared to? Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather? It was like Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao was like winner takes all. If you think about that fight didn't have a rematch clause. That fight was one of the rarest fucking fights on the face of the planet. You had two guys that hated each other, that were in court outside of the ring because of defamation of character, because all the shit that Mayweather talked. Mayweather thought that he deserved the fighter of the decade from 2000 to 2010, and he didn't get that shit, and he was butthurt about it. He was mad because he knew, I'm the better fighter. I can kick Manny Pacquiao's ass. I'm going to give him what I owe him. I'm the A side. Fuck Bob Arum. He owes me money, this, that, and the other. It was very, very, very nasty. Fuck Oscar De La Hoya too. Right? So it was one of those situations where we had the welterweight division becoming the heavyweight division in popularity. But we don't have to worry about that no more. We have Joshua. We have in America Wilder, once beaten. We have juicing ass Jarrell Miller. If he can ever pop clean, he can be sensational, I think. We have Charles Martin. We have Tyson, the Gypsy King Fury. You can't hear me. You can't hear me. Climb high. You can't hear me. Climb high. Can you hear me? Testing, testing. So that's exactly what we had. That's all we had. And if that's all you had in the sport of boxing, that's what you're going to cling to. So everybody put their energy into the welterweight division. Manny Pacquiao did, and you know something funny? It didn't fucking matter if Manny Pacquiao had lost. He just got knocked out in 2012, December 8th, 2012, by Juan Manuel Marquez, his other rival. Okay, so that happened the way it happened. Okay, but we didn't have a heavyweight division. And you can only have so much money that goes through the sport of boxing, obviously. And that's what happened. So I hope that answered your question, because Floyd knew it. Al Heyman knew it. They knew we don't have a heavyweight. They don't have to worry about Roy Jones or Mike Tyson or Evander Holyfield or Lennox Lewis. You didn't have any of those guys no more. Floyd was the only one left from that particular era. Floyd is what, 43 years of age. He'll be what, 44 next year? You gotta understand, he's from another era, Okay, so that's what we had, and it was a special time, and it was a unique time for these guys to make a whole lot of money, because there wasn't nothing else to look at when you talked about the sport of boxing in 2012 through 2015, 2010. What did we talk about? Man, Manny Pacquiao. You think Manny Pacquiao can beat Floyd? Am I lying? That's all we talked about. That shit was so crazy. And people made a whole lot of money talking about Floyd and Manny Pacquiao. In fact, about a month before that fight, I started my YouTube channel. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. That's all we had. That is it. So naturally, Joshua and Canelo coming from a totally different weight class, you can tell how the heavyweight division is much adored because they're bigger guys, you know, but there were no bigger guys then. So we had nothing to compare Manny Pacquiao or Floyd to any of those other guys because they didn't exist. Mic drop, counterpunch, you know? So that's that, you know, and I know maybe my, out of the 11,000 votes, 71% was AJ, because a lot of my guys are my followers are from the UK. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I would want other channels to do that. You know, Blue Blood might do one, and fucking Deontay Wilder might be 71%. So you know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. It's the amount of people that know or follow a certain fighter dictates on how they are. I'm glad you hear me loud and clear, because I'm hoping I'm talking loud and clear. But it is what it is. So this is a reflection of the era that Canelo Alverez is in, because Alverez is in a comparison. He's in a competition with actual heavyweights now, not just the people in his weight class or the weight classes that he's fighting at. You know, so, you know, I mean, that's what it is. People need to understand that Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao was in a time where you could only make that type of money then. It was a unique time. People will they won't make that type of money then. So back to what we were talking about with Errol Spence and Wilder and all these guys, especially Spence and Crawford. Crawford has problems selling certain venues. And I'm not talking about, I love Terrence Crawford, but he's not that market guy. He's not brash. He doesn't talk a lot of shit. He doesn't sell a lot of tickets. Now, he can sell out Nebraska because he's from Nebraska. But overall, pay-per-view sales are down. He's not the only one. Triple G's just like him. The pay-per-view sales were down for Triple G. Remember, his first pay-per-view was by Lemieux bars. So, and then it bombed. It bombed badly. Okay, so it is what it is. Not these guys, and Errol Spence, Him fighting Crawford, yes, it's a desired fight. Yes, it's a diehard fight. Yes, well, casuals will buy the shit. But at the end of the day, the demographic of those two guys fighting, they will not make anything near $50 million. Matter of fact, I'll go as far as saying 20 million. I don't think both of those guys together with the pay-per-view revenue and the fight purses will even make 20 million. You know what I mean? And if it does that, I will be surprised. I would be surprised, and I'll be very happy for those guys. Did you see AJ's new documentary on DAZN? It's about fighting Dillian White and how the real beef was. No, I haven't. I'll check it out though. 15 million. You look. This is what it'll probably be. Errol Spence will probably get 5 million. Terrence Crawford may get 3 million. Then you got to split the pay-per-view revenue. That's how I think it'll be. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they'll get anywhere near those heavyweights because, again, the heavyweights are here alive and well, and they're fucking champions. And they all sell their unique way. Either you're Deontay Wilder, you're to this day, or you're Tyson Fury, I'm the Gypsy King, or you're AJ. You're going to sell, and people are going to like those guys. Counterpunch. So that's what those guys have to compete with in the heavyweight division. Okay, it is what it is. It's not taking anything away from Crawford. It's not taking anything away from Errol Spence. But don't be delusional and don't be a fucking dickhead. You know what I mean? By thinking, oh, these guys are going to make... No. Come on, we're in a pandemic also. Did you think of that? So this is, if anything, it's a unique time for the worst. This shit ain't getting any better. Halim Boston, counterpunch to you. But what I'm saying, people were less educated in boxing. Now, boxing nowadays, people know that heavyweights is not the only division. Yeah, they're not the only division, but the bigger division. You think about a guy goes from 1 year making $1 million for the next year signing offered $100 million contract. Who was that guy? Deontay Wilder. Why do you think that is? Because it's the heavyweight division. The heavyweight division demands, respects more overall. Oh, Usyk got a contract. No, I didn't. But I just did a video on Usyk and Eddie Hearn. You guys stay tuned for that shit. Matter of fact, that's the one I'm going to post after this. But yeah, people understand. The Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather situation was a limited time, a limited, unique time only because of the lack of competition in other divisions, especially the division that's supposed to have been the biggest division, which is the heavyweights. So that's what we didn't have at that time. That's why all those guys, that's why Floyd and Al Heyman and those guys all profited for hitting everybody's ass up for $100 every time you click that buy button. That's why all 4.4 million pay-per-view buys was generated because of that. Now, do you think that shit happened in April or May of 15, right? Let's give you another example. Let's say we did have Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury and that mega fight. Let's say that shit was in May or June, so close to that bout. Do you think those guys would want to buy that fight and that fight? No. They'll be like, no, man, I want to see the heavyweights fight. Counterpunch. It wouldn't have been as big as it was because then people are very selective. People can be frugal. Okay, when it comes to certain shit, like, man, I ain't paying $100 for that shit. I want to see Joshua and Fury. Yeah, let's get that shit. Man, I put 25 on, okay. You got 25, you got 20. Right? So that's what it is. That's what it was. Okay, so when people talk about Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, yes, they were great. Yes, they were very good. Yes, they were the best of their era, but they were all by themselves as marketing the whole sport of all the divisions of boxing. Who else was the shit back then? Don't worry, I'll wait. Who else was the top dogs when Manny was around and Floyd was around? You had a Pac Tard and Flomos. Who else did you have? Where were the fucking heavyweights? Exactly. Cotto. Well, Cotto was okay, but Cotto was already beaten by Mayweather. He had a pretty good following, but he was never nothing like Manny. Claudy. Yeah. From the Ga tribe. Cool. Claudia's in that mix. Okay. Who else? Who else was around at that time? Yeah, but no, dude, no. Andre Ward was a good fighter, but I mean, again, he was overshadowed by Floyd, Manny. Again, you were only on one side or the other. If you cut that shit right up the middle, somebody was gonna cut you across the face. Mosley, come on, Mosley got beat by everybody's ass. Cotto, Pacquiao, and Mayweather. No disrespect to him. Barrera, no, he was from another era. Matter of fact, Manny Pacquiao was the first one that showed him his era and reign was over. Counterpunch. Hopkins, well, Hopkins did what he did. But again, there was nothing like Floyd. And there was nothing like Manny. Carl Froch over there. Yeah, Carl Froch, he was selling out Wembley at the time. But he was only domestic. Even though he did some historic domestic shit, domestically. But I mean, of course, you couldn't hold a candle to somebody like Mayweather or Manny Pacquiao. And see, one thing about Mayweather, Mayweather wanted to be all by himself with that shit, but he knew he couldn't make any money in the sport of boxing without Manny Pacquiao. Yeah, the Prince, now he did well, but again, that's from another era. Barrera ended his era, his reign. Marco Antonio Barrera did. Manny Pacquiao ended Barrera's reign. So Barrera ended Prince's reign, and Manny Pacquiao ended Barrera's reign. The Phantom Salad Dodger counterpunch to you, brother. Imagine SOG and Boo Boo fought. Doctors would just prescribe that the fight instead of sleeping pill. I think that would be a very good fight, actually. Honestly, I think that would be a lot better than people think. They're two skilled guys. They're actually two southpaws, even though Andre Ward fights. Andre Ward is like a De La Hoya, people, in case you didn't know. He was like a De La Hoya. He was a guy that was left-handed, but he fought orthodox. That's what made him so powerful and so dangerous. Ricky Hatton was a big star. He was a big star in the UK, but guess what? Ricky Hatton was stopped. His reign was stopped by who first? Mayweather. He had the Alpha and Omega. Mayweather started it. Manny Pacquiao ended it. That's what happened. So no, I mean, who else did we have in the sport at that time? I mean, he was knocked out cold by Manny. He was stopped by Mayweather. 10 rounds, 2 rounds. That's what happened. 10 for Floyd, 2 for Manny. Or was it 3? One of those. Before some smart ass. No, it was 3. It was 3 rounds, man. You're wrong. You're off a round. You're off a round. Juan Pascal. Try again, motherfucker. Try again, motherfucker. No. I mean, we had no one. There was no one that was holding boxing up besides Manny on one side and Mayweather on the other. Layla Ali, again, Layla got out the sport years before those guys were even the guys that they were. When Layla Ali got out of the sport of boxing, Mayweather was still regarded as pretty boy. Facts. Love that woman, could be my sister, but at the same time, she beat Christy Martin. She had a tough fight, I think, with a Scottish fighter. When that was a really tough, grueling fight. I can't remember her name, but she was out of there. So no, that wasn't her. And then plus, she didn't get paid since she was a woman, like the women get paid these days. Hugo Chavez. No, come on. But anyway, no. This Q&A was great. I hope I educated a lot of you guys. I'm going to drop more videos. Everybody on the chat, you guys have been counterpunched. We will go live tomorrow so we can talk about boxing, the sport that I love, that I hate so much. You guys be safe. Blessings, and everyone has been counterpunched. Peace.